Okay, yeah. Not even a good sound check for
no,
you.
you're fine actually because the
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there a
We
pen?
okay?
you're picked up quite nicely by the
Do you have a pen?
microphone as well.
Oh, there's a pencil here. Great. 6. That's good that we did a sound check because I completely forgot about plugging myself in. And where's Shalom? Where was that? Like.
You ready?
Am I not pluggable? Is that a problem? Is my bags covering it?
No. It's,
Okay, let's do it without you. I think we just have to.
I'll pick you up this way.
Do you want it closer down here or something? Or?
No, because they don't be too loud in your voice.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So nice to see you here in the sanctuary, and those of you who are at home. Let us welcome each other. So we're service number 2, but let's welcome each other with Shalom Aleichem first. Allow us to decompress, arrive here from our week. Those of us who've made it to the dulcet tones of Finchley Progressive Sanctuary and can hear the cooking in the kitchen. Well, no, you can't hear cooking. Who can smell the cooking in the kitchen. You are all welcome to stay for dinner after the service, and let's begin with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Po'echem Shalom Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So welcome, Shabbat Shalom. Sam and Louise are going to light candles for us. Stand if you're here and you'd like to. Stand at home as you get busy lighting your own candles at home.
Baruch atah Adonai, Elohim Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Lovely. Yedid Nefesh, page 78. Let's sit down. Each other to prayer. Lachadodi on page 91.
Lachadodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Lachadodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabala.
To prayer. I love this idea that we welcome each other, that we welcome Shabbat, and then we're ready to be here as a congregation and pray together. Baruch Hu on page 92.
La 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 la
natural world around us and the passing and moving of the seasons. Let's read together. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama Ariv, Aravi.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'chshafbenu, uv'kameinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'tzmotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem chayenu, v'orech yameinu, u'b'hem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavta al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam va'ed. And you shall love the eternal God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you shall be on your heart, and you shall teach them to all your children. And you shall talk of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, lying down and getting up. And you shall write them on the doors of your house and upon your gates, upon your gates.
page 95. I should just say that all of us melt when Natasha comes to join for Shabbat services, but you can't see that there is one creature particularly, Gus Silvermeyer, who is particularly melting tonight with Natasha's singing and being cuddled by his mother, as I am looking at, but all of us are enjoying it. So let's go into Laman Tiskaru.
Laman Tiskaru, Vasitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Emet ve'emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'en zulato v'anachnu Yisrael amo הפודנו מיד מלאכים, הגואלנו מכף כל הארצים, ויוצא את עמו ישראל ממצרים לחירות עולם, ראו בניו גבורתו, שיבחו והודו לשמו, ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Let's offer our evening prayer for peace, for shalom bayit, for that sense of protection that we hope for everyone, that when we have, as we have for the past almost 60 days, have had this prayer, offering it as we do every Shabbat together, and thinking of a war not far from us, of whose details we know so much about.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu LaShalom v'chamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu LaShalom v'chamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. Page 97 as we go to the tefillah, the Amidah. Let's stand.
Yufia
Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Machaye Meti Matarav Lahoshir, Mashiv Aruach Umorid HaGeshem, Mazriach HaShemesh Umorid Hatah, Machakel Chayim B'Chesed, Machaye Metim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayem Emunato Lishnei Afar, Mi Chamocha Ba'al Gvorot, Umi Domelach, Melech Memit Umachaye Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'ema Nata Lahayot Metim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Machaye HaMetim. Kadosh Atah v'Norah Shamecha, Ve'en lanu Eloah mibaladecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Let's sit down for Shamru, and let me invite each of you to think of one thing that you are pleased to leave behind in the week that has finished as we enter into Shabbat.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, nasot et ha-Shabbat, l'doratam b'rit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, nasot et ha-Shabbat, l'doratam b'rit olam. Shamayim va'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha'Shabbat, lasot et ha'Shabbat, l'doratam b'rit olam. U'v'yom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, v'shamru
Page 100. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments. Make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness. Gladden us with your salvation. And purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts. May all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam b'yahava tekabel, u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, she'otecha levadacha b'yera na'avod. As always, those of you at home are welcome to share something you feel grateful for in the chat, as we offer Modim Anachnu Lach, She'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Leolam Va'ed. Tzur Hayenu, Magen Yishenu, Ata hu Lado Vado, Nodeh Lacham Saper Tehilatecha, Al Hayenu Hamsurim Biadecha, V'al Nishmotenu Hapukudot Lach, V'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu. V'al niflotecha v'tovotecha shebachol eit erev v'boker v'tzoharayim. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha ulacha na'eh lahodot. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lachol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lachol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Le'olam. Tasihim Le'olam.
So we offer our final blessing for peace. Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. And take a few moments for silent prayer and reflection. Very conscious that as we're trying to count the Omer together as a congregation, when we're together on Shabbat, and we're going into the third week of the Omer tonight, the week that calls us to focus on beauty and on balance in our lives. Tiferet, beauty and balance. And I just feel that no one says it as well as Marge Piercy, when she really manages to capture what it is to bless all the big and little blossoms of the tree of life, to be grateful for all of it, sweet, salty, bitter, and be grateful for what does not hurt. And in that sense, to pride ourselves on an ability to look for what is beautiful, to work at that balance in our lives. Let's take a moment for silent reflection.
shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ask us to stand as we prepare, as we make our way to the counting of the Omer, to Aleinu that looks forward to us building a better world, a world where we can feel proud that we have contributed in some way to what to make it better. And this portion this weekend, Parshat Kedoshim, considered to be the center, the heart of Torah, in the middle of the book of Leviticus, is the most extraordinary portion known as Kedoshim. Why? Because it begins with the words, "You shall be holy because the Eternal One, your God, is holy." And what ensues is not a list of ritual practice, is not a list of traditional piety only through sacrifice, but is actually a whole chapter devoted to guiding us to be a mensch, to how we behave in business, how we look after those who work for us, how we care for those who are more vulnerable, more fragile in our community, do not place a stumbling block before the blind or curse the deaf. And it ends with this crescendo of how we understand ourselves, which of course is to love the neighbor as yourself. And Hillel, many years later, picked it up and says, nothing can be more important than that capacity for love and empathy. So I just think it's such a great example of our relationship with Judaism, which, after all, we're all here for our service, for prayer, but that so many of us are really motivated, are guided, are informed and inspired by the system of decency that we want to learn and glean from our Judaism. So I really want to let Marge Piercy say her words rather than me guiding us to them before we go into blessing, because she really kind of just reminds us what it is that we're trying to do. So Marge Piercy, when she talks about blessing, the blessing for the return of a favorite cat, the blessing for love returned, for friends returned, for money received unexpected, the blessing for the rising of bread, for the rising of the sun, for the oppressed. I am not sentimental, she writes, about old men mumbling the Hebrew by rote with no more feeling than one says Gesundheit. But the discipline of blessings is to taste each moment, the bitter, the sour, the sweet, the salty, and be glad for what does not hurt. The art is in compressing attention to each little and big blossom of the tree of life, to let the tongue sing each fruit, its savor, its aroma, and its use. Attention is love, what we must give, children, mothers, fathers, pets, our friends, the news, the woes of others. What we want to change, we curse, and then pick up a tool. Bless whatever you can, with eyes and hands and tongue. If you can't bless it, get ready to make it new. So we're going to count the Omer now. We're going to name the day, and I think Josie is sharing the prayer. And because it's Shabbat, we will offer Mayafe Hayom just before we go to Aleinu. So the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. And today is the 14th day of the Omer. We're starting tonight. Hayom arba asa shehem shnei shuvuot la'omer. Today is the 14th day of the Omer, having passed 2 weeks of it and entering into this Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, Mayafe Hayom, Shabbat
520. Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol,
לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לכת את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושך יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת לעינוד.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. So we stay standing as we go to Kaddish. And I share first a tragic death in our community, not unexpected, but profoundly sad nonetheless, that we mourn the death of Anna Freeman, daughter of David Eisen and Sally Eisen, sister of Zach and niece of Roz. Zichrona livracha, may her memory be for a blessing. She was greatly loved by many in our congregation. Anna's funeral will be on Sunday, 12 o'clock at Edgeworbury Lane, and Shiva at 8 o'clock in the evening at David's home, which all are invited to, but is also being streamed online. We also think of the death of Sidney Lipman, uncle of Josie Kinchin, Zichrono Livracha, great uncle of Paula Kinchin-Smith. And the yard sites that fall at this time: Mark Harris, father of Ruth Hoffman; Ida Navarro Polaco, mother of Renzo Fantoni; Charles Rappaport, father of Anne Andrews; and Margot Stone, mother of Josie Kinchin, grandmother to Paula and Tracy. Zichronam Livracha. May all their memories be for a blessing, and may those who recall and remember their loved ones be comforted in their loss, as we say the words of the Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shamei rabbah, bi'ama divra hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'hayachon v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mavorach leolam omer maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithada v'yitale v'talal shemei d'kudusha brechu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiram v'yama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru, amen. Let's sit down. So again, I wish long life and strong hearts to those who are mourning and remembering loved ones. Let me just add a few little announcements for tonight before we close our service with Natasha blessing us all. Please know that we have cooked more, and Zoe and I have spent the afternoon cooking, so anyone who didn't book in for the dinner, we'd love for you to stay. We're having dinner in a small hall, and it would be really nice to have anyone that fancies staying. We will share everything. Tomorrow we have a new members coffee just before the Shabbat service. But obviously, in order for new members to feel really welcome, if you're coming to the Shabbat service, then do pop in earlier for the cup of coffee, because it would be really nice to welcome. Some of you might have been around for ages and only just joined formally, whatever. We'd love to see you for a cup of coffee before the service. Shabbat morning service tomorrow, and Sunday Cafe every hour, open topic, who knows where that will go. Just a real, just for me to remind you all, because we have had to give you wrong information, and right information will be sent to you, because we were given Liberal Judaism, and Liberal Judaism asked us, Finchley Progressive, to step in and host former Ambassador Daniel Taub to come and speak to us for Yom Ha'atzmaut, alongside our own programme, which is Poetry and Reflections, read by the Olivier Awarded actor Elliot Levy, member of our congregation, and phenomenal musicians Daniel David and Abigail Dolan. Daniel's their son, who's also a good musician. So the whole programme is going to be together. But Daniel Taub changed his date from Wednesday to Thursday after our email had been sent. So you will receive a correction, but the same program stands. He is joining us. It will be Thursday at 7:30 for us to acknowledge and mark Yom Ha'atzmaut. I like to, as someone who wrestles greatly, thoughtfully with Israel, loves it deeply, and feels a healthy critique like a beloved relative, it's really interesting for us to think of Yom Ha'atzmaut as being a day that we can step away from political yearnings and conversations and just really celebrate just the extraordinary history that maybe we know others that have been involved in it. So I urge you to come and join us for what will be either online or in person. It will be hybrid, of course, and we've yet to beg the tech team to be here and help us, but we will see what we can do. And that is on Thursday evening and not on Wednesday, as you have been told in your email. I think I'll stop there. Let us bless each other before we have Kiddush. Have I forgotten anything else? Is anyone looking at me? No. And we will gather for Kiddush there, but Natasha and I will offer here, so those of you who are at home are with us for Kiddush, but we're starting to have Kiddush in person as well.
Simcha Elohim ka'efra v'imchi b'nashem Yesimech Elohim k'sara Rivka Rachel b'neya
Natasha. Thank you all for joining us here in the sanctuary. Kiddush is behind you on the tables behind. Never one to refuse. There's a glass of wine. Okay, let me... Oh, what do you know? I've just happened upon Kiddush on page 564. You know I always forget the page of that. So, page 564. Please stand, grab your wine. There should be something to eat next to you. Yes, horseradish martini. Yeah. Do you know there's horseradish martinis in the fridge because not enough people came to drink them. So actually I changed it to elderflower because the horseradish is a little harsh. Okay. Oh, thank you, Brian, for keeping us safe. Grab yourself a Palwins, that will warm you up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahavav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lama'aseh b'reishit Ki hu yom tehila lamikraye kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'harta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Turns out it's not wine, what I've got. It's grape juice. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Are you coming to take it, Michael? Please do. It does look a bit wobbly. I will let you take. Thank you so much, Natasha. So everyone, stay if you're able for dinner. And I'm sorry that those of you at home are not with us, but we wish you a lovely evening, a lovely Shabbat. And maybe we'll see you tomorrow for Shabbat. And hopefully you've had a moment to welcome Shabbat with us.